So I understand this is the seventh version of the Global Leadership Forecast Survey. How is this survey different from the previous ones you've done?
Sure, so this is the seventh study. We do this survey about every 2.5 years or so. So we've been doing the survey research for about 15 years. This has been our largest survey that we've done. It's about 13,000 leaders, 1,500 HR professionals, so representing about 1,500 organizations. We also had a more global sample than ever before. We had 48 countries represented in the research, so the diversity of the sample was larger than ever before. Also, in terms of the topics we looked at, we did some work to interview executives, HR professionals, to find out what are the key topics and issues that they're really struggling with. So in terms of the focus of the survey, what information we looked at, what we analyzed, that was all guided by some input from organizations and HR professionals where they really needed research to guide their practices.
There is also a different look and feel to the way you've presented the data. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we've tried to recognize that a lot of information is presented visually, graphically, a lot less text that's used to present information. It really helps speak to a broader audience and make that information more accessible to a broad group of readers, and so we tried to take that into account when preparing the research. We also created 18 different individual findings, each one of which can be used as a standalone research piece, so it speaks to that particular finding, which has typically a key question that we're asking, some key statistics, some information that's often presented graphically as well, and then also some implications, so what we call a now what section, to help make sure that we're providing some specific guidance about what organizations can do with that information to advise them on their
One of the most powerful things about this survey in particular is about how you've started to look ahead at the impact on business outcomes of some of the leadership practices and leadership development practices we've seen here. What has that research shown you?
Sure, so you're right. That was something we did for the first time in this survey, is we gathered data from publicly traded companies about how well they were actually performing financially and link those to their talent practices. And so we were able to look even at companies 3 years ago, what they were doing there to manage their talent, to develop their leaders, and how that's led to financial outcomes for them today. We saw some strong impact there where really at the core were effective leadership development programs which led to high quality leader experiences, so engagement and retention. It led to higher quality leadership, so their current strength of leaders and also their bench strength over the next 3 years. And we also saw a strong impact on their financials. So they were several times more likely to be financially successful when these high quality development programs and in turn leadership quality, when those were in place. That allowed us to look over time to see what's the long-term impact of high quality talent programs.
What are the key takeaways for people who are either working in the HR field or in the leadership development in terms of recommendations from this survey?
Yeah, well, it's interesting you mentioned HR because we did do some research specifically on their role, and to what degree does HR really need to move beyond its current status of seeking to be a partner to organizations? Because we're finding that partnership really isn't enough anymore for HR. So we define this new role called the HR anticipator. So those are characterized by HR professionals who are really taking a forward-facing approach, really challenging their organization, really making sure that talent planning becomes an input to strategic planning. And when that connection was in place, we found that those organizations tended to be more successful. So we think that has some pretty strong implications for HR, and we really hope this information provides some insights that HR can then turn around and use within their organization to show the impact of talent planning and really to be more analytical and more research-based in their guidance that they're providing back to their organization. It's really their role to drive this, and we also feel that they're often lacking the information they need to have these kind of conversations with their senior business leaders, and our hope is that this information can help them on that.
So if people want to find out more about the research, where is it they can go?
Sure, so we've got a microsite set up on, it's on ddiworld.com/GLF2014, so that's where the overall report will be. The individual findings are up there, so people can download individual findings that delve into a particular topic. We'll also be producing some ongoing research, so we'll have some industry reports, some additional country and regional reports, some special topic reports. So that'll be an ongoing source for information about both the current research and then as we continue to produce additional reports based on this.
Well, thank you, Evan. It's been terrific to have you here in Australia, and thank you for coming and sharing some of the insights from this research. It's tremendously exciting. We have also created an Australian version of this report which provides insights that are relevant particularly to the Australian market, and if you would like to see a copy of that report you can contact DDI directly.